Any other thoughts, anyone, or should we just have a quick open house? Generally, any comments, suggestions, thoughts for the project overall, for contributions? Uh, of course, we are going to come back to you with the, some notes following this event, with some discussions and deadlines and support required and needed for us to move forward with a time plan. Otherwise, if anyone has any concern, comment, thought, please, this is the time.
Meanwhile, I will say, as you're thinking about your comments, that first of all, thank you to all of you for sticking with us this whole day. It was longer than yesterday, and I think it's difficult to be on Zoom for so long. So thank you. Second, I do want to say that we are really trying to push the book forward. Our conversation with the press is that we will submit the manuscript in December. So, you know, our hope is to get the next draft from all of you, and I'll send this in an email and it will be organized, but I'm just saying it now, in early November. And so we will have another final round. I do also want to encourage all of you who were commentators, and not only encourage, but kind of ask all of you who were commentators to send the comments to the authors and send them through us, so we will have them as editors. Many of you have already done that, but for those who didn't, I think it can be really valuable in the next round of revisions. So I will be in touch with all of you about revision. So what we'll just so you know what to expect. So we expect drafts now in November. We will then do one final round of editing just for final fine-tuning and footnotes, and you know, if anything major comes up, then we'll address that too. But generally, it's going to be kind of more fine-tuning. And then Shilpi, Bimal, and we are supposed to write the introduction and the conclusion. I will say that there was there are two more chapters who weren't presented today. One is Lorena Rocha's and her co-authors. They couldn't participate, and the second is I have another piece in the chapter in the book. So these two will be part of it as well. I've had this. I've developed this practice of doing a mind map as I participate in conferences. So I'm just going to share the mind map with you for today's conference. So this is kind of the mind map for the book, for the issues that we've been doing. I know I've been obsessive about this. This is like the second. So, you know, just as we wrap up and for final words, and before I let Bimal and Shilpi say their final words, I just want to say that we've covered a lot of ground in these 2 days. So the book is organized around law, actors, and sectors. So I kind of organized my thinking along these lines. And, you know, we begin with law, which is where we began our journey yesterday. We talked about due diligence and transparency legislation and corporate purpose and CSR, which brings us to hard law and soft law and WSR. I put it in this purple because we don't know, you know, the collection to law is questionable. And here we have the issue of soft law and hard law that came up, and private and public. That leads us to, of course, levels of governance, not just of governance, really of production as well, right? That was a big thing as well. It's not just the level of governance. And then we have the different actors. So we talked about, of course, corporations and lead firms, they're main actors here, but we talked about states, and I think these are kind of the big actors, regulators that we're thinking either in private or public regulation. And then we have NGOs. We've heard Sahiba's great paper on intermediaries. We have, of course, suppliers who are key in everything we discuss. And then workers, right? What do we do with workers? We heard about the FFP, Fair Food Program. We discussed Matadi boards, and of course consumers as well. And then we thought about sectors. We have garment, construction, and mica mining mentioned in the book, and actually agriculture as well, but it's not in the sectors part. And of course, the main issue would be one of change, right? All of us are wondering about how to bring about change, and Dev helpfully helpfully discussed with us the idea of incremental versus transformative, and Yanis talked about restructuring the power dynamics. And I think when we heard Chandan and Chinmay today, we heard the on-the-ground attempts to bring about change and what it looks like from the trenches. So I think all of that are kind of themes and issues and kind of words and thought bubbles that as we continue working on our papers, I think it would be really helpful to try and kind of keep tabs of all of them and see where they come up in our papers. Of course, there's also the issue of definitions, right? We didn't touch much upon it, but it's always a question, what do we say when we talk about modern slavery and trafficking and actually GVCs, right? Are Matadi workers, are they part of the GVC? Are they not part of the GVC? You know, all of that and the definitions are also key. And we didn't spend much time talking about methods, but I think we have, it's an interdisciplinary group. We have very different methods that are being used here. We didn't get to discuss them much, but I think that's something that will come up as we continue working on the papers. So these are just kind of my mind map of the event. Of course, I probably missed a bunch of things, so you know, feel free to to add them on in your own mind maps. I don't know. So I think that's it for me. We will send a wrap-up email to everybody. We will also send you the recording of the event. Shilpi, Bimal, final words. Anyone else?
No, thank you so much, Hila. I think this was good. I'm glad you have done that. I was thinking of the diversity, you know, over the last 2 days, and the richness that has been we have managed to. Every one of us has managed to get in this work, and hence it's going to be a valuable contribution. And I'm very, very pleased and excited the way it is going and shaping. I have, you know, I've discussed with you and Shilpi about plans beyond the book in terms of creating some kind of a website or some kind of, you know, promotional or continuing engagement in the topic for all of us who are participating in this and beyond, to keep it alive. So I'll come back to you all with some suggestions. I mean, I'll discuss with you, Hila and Shilpi, and then we will take to everyone. How would that be? We are anyway thinking about organizing a session in the CRB conference, Center for Responsible Business Conference, annual conference in October, end of October. So I guess we will be inviting some of you to participate in that as a speaker, and of course to join and attend that also. So there are a few things planned. Hopefully we will keep it going and exciting. Thank you, everyone.
Shilpi?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone. It was brilliant. 2 brilliant days I had. Hila, that was fantastic, the mind map. I think we can use it for our introduction chapters. So keep it.
We will.
But I had a great session. The sessions were fantastic, and I had a brilliant learning platform here. So thank you for all your hard work and all the brilliant research that you're putting in. Thanks. Anybody else wants to say anything?
Thank you.
Thank you all, and thank you to our the people who joined us for these sessions, both that are here and that are already left, for being part of this conversation. We're glad to have all of you here.
Special thanks to Dave for being constantly encouraging. Actually, he was the one who suggested we should do this.
Totally.
And I'm glad we did this. So thank you, Dave, for encouraging us, pushing us to kind of keep it interactive and alive, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.